The French Revolution was much influenced by the ideals of the Enlightenment, as France's peasants called for more equality and rights. Great differences between the living conditions of the nobility and the common people of France in the late 18th century caused much displeasure among the French commoners, who made up a vast majority of the French population. Many commoners were very poor and had very little to eat, while the monarchs had luxurious lifestyles and still did nothing to assist the people who were struggling to survive. As the royalty continued to do nothing to help, feelings of hatred toward them continued to grow among the common people. Because of a very expensive involvement in the American Revolution and unnecessary spending by the French monarchy, France was in terrible economic condition as the 19th century approached. Most of the little money that the country had left stayed in the hands of the monarchs. Drought, poor harvests, diseases, and extremely high bread prices caused anger to spread amongst the peasants. Eventually, many of them started to riot to show their displeasure with the government. Eventually, financial reform that could possibly bring slight relief to the commoners was proposed by the government. To gain supporters, the king called together the Estates General, which had representatives from all social classes. The commoners, however, felt that they were not fairly represented since they made up over 95% of France's population, but their representatives made up only one-third of the Estates General. This meant that the commoners could easily be outvoted. In the days leading up to the meeting of the Estates General, the commoners began gathering support for fair representation. The nobles were their main opposition, as they preferred the traditional system, which provided them with luxuries which they enjoyed at the time. When the Estates General finally met, the debate over the process by which they voted had escalated into fighting between the three classes. Over a month after the Estates General had convened, no agreement regarding their procedures had been reached. So the commoners decided to meet alone and form the National Assembly. They took the tennis court oath, promising each other that they would not quit until there was reform. Soon most of the representatives of the clergy and some from the nobility joined the National Assembly. Soon the king moved all orders into the National Assembly. The National Assembly continued to meet, but fear continued to grow amongst the common people that the government would push back against them.
Louis XVI was born in 1754 as Louis Auguste, Duc de Berry. He was the son of the Dauphin of France, Louis, and the Princess Marie Joseph of Saxony. When he was 15, he married Marie Antoinette. On May 10, 1774, his grandfather died, and he became king at the age of 20 on June 11, 1775. In 1789, he called the Estates General to a meeting. The Third Estate knew that what they wanted would be ruled out because the Third Estate was the peasants and the middle class, so they broke away. Soon the king was forced to move from Versailles to Tuileries in Paris. The king tried to flee France with his wife and children to Austria, but was stopped in the town of Varennes. Only a few months later, he was executed by the guillotine on January 21, 1793. Marie Antoinette was born in Vienna, Austria on November 2, 1755. Marie Antoinette was the Queen of France during the Revolution. The common folk hated her for spending so much that she almost bankrupted the country. After trying to flee France with her family, she was guillotined on October 16, 1793. Maximilien de Robespierre was born in Arras, which is in the northern part of France. He volunteered to represent the Third Estate during the Estates General in 1789. In 1791, he helped write the Declarations of Rights of Man and Citizen. A little bit after the king and his family tried to flee the country, Robespierre stood up in front of the assembly and declared that the king be given the death penalty. After the king was killed, Robespierre helped start what was known as the Terror. The Terror started in September 1793, and it was a time when France was killing its own people by the hundreds in a frightening movement of rage and decadence. In 1794, he was evicted by the convention, accusing him of dictatorship and tyranny. Members voted for his eviction and death at the same time and sentenced him to the execution. The day he died was also the day the Terror ended.
The doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate, just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever wanna be king? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing. was when